What is up, y'all, and welcome back to another video. And today the topic is going to be on Kevin Durant. As we know, he had a lot of rumors going into the trade deadline, how he might get traded, maybe potentially back to Golden State or the Rockets, and mainly the Miami Heat. But today we actually got new information on Kevin Durant, and it could actually tell us a lot about his fate going forward with the Phoenix Suns and where he actually might end up going if he doesn't stay with the Suns. And the first piece of information we actually got was from Brian Windhorst in a tweet from NBA Central, where he quotes, "Kevin Durant is probably going to get traded this summer. He knows it, the Suns know it, and the rest of the NBA knows it." So, if Brian Windhorst is saying this very confidently and he's saying the rest of the NBA knows it, it's pretty likely to happen. So, and Brian Windhorst's reasoning is actually in this video I'm about to play. So I'm going to play it for you guys really quick, and then I'm going to tell you guys what I think about it.
It's not really controversial, in all honesty. They're under 500. They've got a $230 million payroll. Then add about over $100 million in tax on that. Hembo was showing me some stats earlier. He's played almost 1,500 minutes this year, and he's +2 on the court in those 1,500 minutes. So you have an extremely expensive team that is not winning, and the player that is their most expensive player who is playing great but not impacting them on a positive level. You do not need a high-level analyst to tell you that they probably need to trade him, which is why they were exploring the trade market for him. And while I would never make an ironclad prediction, I would expect this summer for Durant and the Suns to work together to find a new home. He has 1 year left on his contract, which will give him some control as to where that will be.
And Brian's reasoning was pretty solid. It makes sense. They're below 500. He only has a +2 ±. The team's not that good this year. He's making so much money. So it doesn't really make sense for the Suns to keep him. If they're not going to win a championship now and their team is not good enough, there is no point to keep him. Trade him, get as much value as you can for him because, he's getting older, his value's going to go down, and he's making so much money. And the Suns are not completely screwed here because he has 1 year left on his contract. They kind of want to work together. This is not really a Kevin Durant decision. This is mainly the Suns' decision. So they can work together with him, find a good suitor for him, and a good suitor that will get the Suns a good return. So the Suns could still look very solid next year. They could get a lot of first-round picks, or they could trade for someone who's a little bit younger and, could help build with Booker. Booker's late 20s now, so, he's still able to compete for a long time. He's a good amount of prime left, so if you can get someone that helps Booker, that could be a very solid option from Kevin Durant. But getting young, good players is also a good option, as the Rockets lead the sweepstakes in Kevin Durant, as they are followed by New York, Golden State, Miami, OKC, Dallas, Clippers, Minnesota, Washington, and Toronto. But honestly, realistically, I think the Rockets, the Knicks, and the Warriors, and potentially the Heat, because we saw they were trying to trade for him in this trade deadline, are the only realistic options for Kevin Durant, as the other teams could happen, but they're just not very likely in my opinion. Why is the Wizards even in there? Why would the Wizards want Kevin Durant besides the fact that he grew up in Washington, And now for the second part of this video, as the title also has Collin Cowherd and what words he's said about Kevin Durant. And recently he actually said something very bold about Kevin Durant, as NBA Central recently just tweeted something about Collin Cowherd and how he said Kevin Durant tanked his own career. And the quote goes, "Kevin Durant is more the artist who halfway through the tour cancels the tour, sues Ticketmaster, and gets into a fist fight with his drummer." So Collin Cowherd is obviously throwing shade here, and I'll play the whole video for you guys, and then I'll talk about what I think about it after.
The difference between LeBron and KD is LeBron is more like a Gordon Ramsay or a Jay-Z. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. And Kevin Durant is more the artist who halfway through the tour cancels the tour, sues Ticketmaster, and gets into a fist fight with his drummer.
And so obviously he's comparing LeBron James and Kevin Durant here, how LeBron is basically just running the show. He's doing so much more successful than Kevin Durant has and ever will. And he's kind of just throwing shade at Kevin Durant. Whatever analysts like Collin Cowherd really say, whatever they say, you kind of need to take with a grain of salt, as they be saying outlandish stuff to try to get clicks and try to get attention. But this thing was a little bit interesting, because if you think about LeBron and Kevin Durant in their career past, starting off early in their career, they were actually pretty close. Obviously, LeBron was always ahead, but there are definitely times where Kevin Durant and LeBron were argued for who the better player was during a single season. Obviously, of all time, LeBron's better, but there were some times where Kevin Durant was getting kind of close to LeBron in a single season. And I think towards the end of their careers is really the big difference, because Kevin Durant just had some interesting career paths towards the end. Obviously, after he left Golden State, you would think he want to win by himself, and he does want to win, but he chose the Nets. It didn't really work out. Obviously, injuries hurt. Then he chose the Suns out of all teams, which is very interesting because he hasn't had really any success in the Suns this last few years, last 2 or 3 years, 2.5, I think. And comparing him to guys like Steph Curry and LeBron, like they just had so much more success later in their careers than Kevin Durant has. Obviously, Kevin Durant's still been an All-NBA guy, All-Star guy, but he's not really had like that deep playoff run success that the other two have had, you know? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just yapping, but, you know, Collin got me thinking with this one. He definitely got me thinking. Obviously, he's trying to throw shots at Kevin Durant in a sense, but, I mean, sometimes the points these guys make are interesting. I don't know, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is an interesting video. A lot of news about Kevin Durant recently. Obviously, I'm sure he's been happy with himself recently as he just hit 30K points, and I think he was the second player to do that since LeBron James. So, you know, there is some positive about Kevin Durant. I don't know, but yeah, let me know your thoughts on all this stuff. I mean, Kevin Durant, always a controversial player, so everybody has their own opinions. But yeah, that's really it for me. Like the video, do all that stuff, and bye.